Do you need a hand?
Mike! We're here today. My good friend Mike has loaned me the back portion of his shop while he works. So today we're gonna be doing a few things. Basically the remainder of the stuff that I couldn't do in my basement. So we got the Grom on the stands right here. And we are gonna be doing the Handbrake setup. I'm gonna trip over that GoPro so many times. We got the Brembo Master cylinder up here. I just put that on, you know, to space it out. Let me adjust this down a little bit. And the spacing works pretty great with the one finger clutch. So I'm really happy about that. But now we obviously gotta wire it up. So we have a nice long brake cable here. I went with the Perfect Strangers designs. This is a really high quality piece. We were just checking it out a minute ago. Basically it's gonna go on the back here. And I got the Big Rotor setup. Basically you have to buy a OEM front rotor for the back. So my rotors will be of more braking power on the rear than the front, which is funny because it's a sport bike design like this. But, and then I got the whole kit from Perfect Strangers. So the only thing you have to get besides that is the Big Rotor. And then a bunch of banjo bolts. Oh, we're gonna put this on too today. It is a just a U-mount for a ram mount. So put that on the handlebars. We got these Wilmette Tech axle sliders. So these will go on the axles on both sides. Just to protect them. Got those from TST. And then I also have the 2 calipers that will be braking this bad boy. So this also came with the Perfect Strangers kit. They were honestly about the same price getting it with the kit as you would order them normally, unless you're buying them used. So, but just 2 P34s, nothing crazy there. If I ever sell this bike, which I don't plan on doing, but if I ever do, I'm definitely going to be taking the whole handbrake setup with me.
That's actually surprisingly stable.
I'm happy with it. So we got a 14 and a 19, because that completely makes sense. Thank you, Honda. So we're gonna pop off the rear axle here. I'm gonna try not to drop the bike, which will be fun. And yeah, if we put it in neutral, so it'll roll freely. So let's pop this off. We'll take everything apart and then we'll regroup and see how we're gonna tackle putting all that stuff on. So. Spacer, bolt itself. Shane already has rust on it.
Ready to go.
Just surface rust. Oh man, these adjustments look terrible. So here's the wheel. What? I'm gonna need to replace those. They look pretty wonky as hell. So now we take off the brake caliper here. We're just gonna take off the whole thing. I'm gonna need this bolt, I believe. So we'll just take it off here and analyze what exactly we need for the Perfect Strangers setup. Oh man, that is on there. So if I were to do this again, I would most definitely unhook this before, unhook the brake line here before I took off the wheel. You got no real force. Oh, there she is, full of brake fluid. So this is the tiny little caliper we got going on, and then we're putting on 2 of these big boys here. So theoretically, should never really have to deal with brake fade. So we got the rotors here. So this is the old one we're gonna take off, and then we're gonna put this new one on. One thing you want to pay attention to, obviously, is there's an arrow, and there's also like a cool little pattern. So you obviously want it to go the same way when you put the new one on. So we're also going to, per recommendation of Senor Mike, as I drop his Loctite, we're gonna put some Loctite on it and just make sure it stays, and we'll hand crank it down. There's a torque spec apparently, but hand crank apparently is good enough. Right? Expert Mike? Yes. So there we are. Nothing too crazy. Here is the new one. Sits on there just like that. And then we're gonna put some Loctite on these. It looks like it was already done at the factory too. So definitely do that. And then we'll just kind of crank them down. I'm doing a drop, Mike. I'm doing a drop. It's always too much. So one thing when tightening them down, you want to do it in a kind of cross pattern. So you don't want to do like in a circle. You want to do it each side all the way down. So a little bit each, and then we'll give her one big crank at the end. And that should be good. Screws don't really go any farther, and that seems to work out good. So you got comparison there. Whoop. Got another inch on the end. Plate seems thinner. Yeah, this new plate is actually thinner than this old plate here. So now here comes the fun part, putting it all back together. So we have these Womtech sliders that these backs are now soaking wet, so they just peel off. Your floor is incredibly wet, Mike. If you were unsure.
It becomes 60 degrees.
Everything melts. So after much consulting with no instructions, basically you want to take this part of the slider. I thought these were actually, plastic, but they're actually metal, which is kind of cool. So slide it down on the end here, and then you want to take this section, and screw that onto the end. It's one part of the rear axle slider, and then we just want to add the other parts back. So we'll do the washer and then the spacer here. So it looks like the spacer, you can go either way. It's the same on both sides. Here comes the tricky part. We have to hold on to the axle while we hold on to the tire, while we hold on to the brake bracket, and shove it all in there. So we're gonna give it a go, and if not, I'll cry wolf. Oh yeah, when you're doing this, don't forget to put back on the sprocket, otherwise you're not gonna go anywhere. And there's this little bearing in there too. Don't lose that. I've almost lost it twice now. See? Just like that. Losing it every time. Alright, so I am a complete and utter idiot. Definitely forgot to put the chain on when putting it back together. Mike pointed it out, and I feel like a moron. So, we're gonna struggle again. Definitely use your foot when you can. It makes this much nicer. Shit. So, squeeze this in here. And also, don't forget to chain it. I'm done. Ugh. That song made me happy, Mike. I didn't feel like the world was ending anymore. Have to wait, say nothing's easy. Yeah! And there we go. The GoPro is about to die. So hardest part of bike maintenance, is it the hardest part, Mike?
What?
Putting the rear axle back on? Or am I just terrible at this?
That can be a pain on a full-size bike.
I'm not terrible, I'm just less than good. Oh god. 50 minutes to do this.
I love that fucking poster, like.
Oh yeah. Oh look, that didn't go as far.
Oh my goodness.
Right? We're getting there. Yeah, it basically throws water
here, yeah.
on your butt. It just throws water on your butt.
Yeah, that's like my bike too. Whoa, shit. That's light as shit.
Right?
Shit.
What?
There's no clutch.
No, that's the brake. The little one's the clutch.
What?
So
So is this gonna be useless?
ah, you just squirted fluid everywhere.
Oh yeah. Why didn't you say something?
I was about to say it and then you just like jammed on the brake. Oh my god.
This damn phone.
See, this is what happens when I start drinking beer and like doing stuff.
You had what, a half a beer?
Yeah, but like you're here and I'm distracted now. Like I don't.
A half a beer.
What do you?
My dick is so hard right now.
You and your friend.
So this is pretty random, right?
Just let it go. Just let it keep recording. You know?
Oh, you're just gonna edit that shit out?
Yeah.
Nectar of the gods here.
I quit beer, but I make exceptions.
You put it all together earlier and left the chain off. That was kind of weird.
Yeah. I was not happy about that. I was like, yes, I got it together, and then the chain wasn't on. It's finally warm out, and as you guys can tell, the footage got a little sketchy at the end there. I broke this video up into 2 parts. The handbrake setup I've put together, I've been using it for a while now. It is amazing. I still suck at stand-up wheelies, but I've had some friends wheelie the bike and stand-up wise, and they love the master cylinder. And the Brembo setup here is just phenomenal. So if you guys made it through the video, thanks for watching so much. If you want to see some more, I'll try and keep it less nutty in the future, but I had no idea what I was doing or getting into with a build series like this. And that inviting friends along was fun, but maybe not the best idea for more concise build series in the future. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.